That's your guys' cue for you guys to
Yeah. Your go, Corey.
Corey.
Well, we're doing the social media thing now? I
No,
thought that was only at the end.
Well, you're doing your intro, who you are.
Oh, that's me. Yeah. Okay, cool.
All right, we've got no choice. Call the Ghostbusters.
Hudson Valley Ghostbusters, what do you want?
Vigo, the scourge of Carpathia, the sorrow of Moldavia, come on here.
Oh, command me, Lord!
I collect spores, molds, and fungus.
Beautiful!
It's slime time.
Greetings, ethereal beings, subhuman entities, and spectral forms from the great beyond, and any living humans who may be watching. Welcome back to Hudson Valley Slime Time. I am one of your hosts, Jason, and the marketing director of the Hudson Valley Ghostbusters. As usual, I'm joined by my co-hosts, Corey and Matt.
Hello. Well, I guess you've noticed a little bit of a change to the intro because I am one of the hosts now. Ooh. Hello, I am Corey, and I am the social media director of Hudson Valley Ghostbusters. Thanks for having me.
And my name is Matt. I am the executive director and co-founder of Hudson Valley Ghostbusters. We are a 501c3 organization that raises money for charity in the Hudson Valley area, and now you're listening to our podcast. Lucky you.
Lucky all of us.
And we have got a good one lined up today. This is an episode I've been looking forward to since Ghostbusters Day.
Yeah. Recently, we got to go down to the firehouse in New York City for Ghostbusters Day. And while we were down there, we had the absolute pleasure of meeting members of the Ghostbusters Virginia. We will have them on here in a few short minutes.
But first, just a little bit of update on some business matters. We recently were running a campaign online. Maybe you saw it. Hopefully you bought some popcorn. Because we partnered with Double Good, makers of gourmet popcorn, to fundraise for charity. It's a great little pop-up you can do. It doesn't take any effort. You set up your store, you promote and get people to buy your popcorn. They buy it. It goes right to their house. And when all is said and done, at the end of a 4-day stretch, we got to keep half the proceeds that were raised total, and we ended up sending over $750 to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, which was great.
Yeah,
awesome
and
success.
we have to give a big shout out to Pete because that was his idea. It was just a 4-day period, so it was really quick and painless on our part. We just had to share some posts and links. And you guys did all the work for us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you to everyone who bought and helped us support AFSP. Also, moving on to events that are going to be a little more legwork on our end. Coming up on August 2nd and 3rd in Poughkeepsie, we will be returning to Mid-Hudson Comic-Con. This will be our third or fourth time doing that show. We're a staple there, hopefully, forever.
We make that show.
Well, we make the corner of the show that we're in for sure.
Yeah.
And coming up at the end of August on the 23rd and 24th, we will have a new event that we've been asked to do, which is Hudson Valley Horror Festival. So if you love everything horror, everything spooky, everything cool and creepy that goes bump in the night, you should come check us out. It's bound to be a good time.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one because I think they wanted to get us. They wanted to get us last year, but I think they did us. It was a short notice, and we just couldn't pull it together, or we already had something planned. I forget, but
but this year they got to us early. Everything lined up, and we're going to be excited to be doing that show this year.
So as you said before, back on Ghostbusters Day, I got to interview our guests that will be coming on in just a minute, Veronica Victor and Darrell Ayer. Veronica was the director, screenwriter, and producer of an awesome Ghostbusters fan film called Don't Make Me Laugh. And Darrell Ayer was the director of photography, editor, and producer. So we're really excited to be talking to them.
Yeah, absolutely. It is one of the best Ghostbuster fan film that I've seen in a very long time, perhaps ever.
I've watched it many times already.
And I'd also like to make a note and bear with us. This is the first time we are having guests on our show that are not a part of our group. So we're having guests from another state come on, another Ghostbusters group. So it's going to be quite interesting. I would tune in for this. You're not going to want to miss it.
Be kind in the comments. No, I'm just kidding. It's going to be great.
And don't change that dial.
What's a
I don't
dial?
even have dials anymore. The kids aren't
some
going to know
people
what
still
that
have
means.
dials for like volume, but I don't know about
Yeah, everything's all swipey nowadays.
Don't swipe. Don't change the tab. Stay right here. You're gonna not want to miss it.
Never really cared about a job like this before. Whoa! This one's special. Just remember, keep my eyes open. Yes, both of them.
Go get this thing and go home.
Come here, big boy! I want to talk!
Busy.
And that was the last laugh of Mr. Joe King.
Oh, yeah!
It's okay, because we are ready to believe you.
Well, hi, I'm Veronica. I am the writer-director of Don't Make Me Laugh. And Darrell, want to introduce yourself?
Oh, I'm Darrell Oehl. I am the cinematographer and a number of other small roles on Don't Make Me Laugh.
Cool. All right, great. Yeah, and before we get into the whole, Don't Make Me Laugh video, or let's, why don't you guys tell us, how long you guys been a Ghostbusters group? You guys been around a while, or?
So Ghostbusters Virginia has been around since about 2002. It moved into like full charity territory around 2019, I believe.
Okay.
We joined. When did you join? Was it after the pandemic? Was it 21 or 22?
I think 21. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it was after the pandemic. And before that, I was a member of the West Virginia Ghostbusters. So I've been doing this for a little bit. But yeah, I joined around then. Darrell, when did you join?
22. I had built my pack and everything as like a pandemic project, and then moved to Virginia in early 2022, and figured that I needed to go out and meet people, and Ghostbusters was a good way to do it. So I strapped up and went out and at my first con and was caught by Ghostbusters, and I was exactly what I was intending. So it was perfect.
Yeah, it's funny how everybody kind of falls into this and stuff like that. So I did a little research and looked at like Ghostbusters Virginia and stuff like that, and you guys, you guys seem like you got a pretty good sized group. Do you know about how many members you guys have, or?
The group's over 100 members at this point.
Wow.
Ooh.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah. I thought New York had a lot.
Concentrated pockets throughout the state, like, around Richmond, Virginia Beach, Nova area where Darrell is. It's kind of, that's where most of our events take place. But we're all over the state.
Yeah. And it's 100 members officially. People come and go, and there's people that have been in the group forever. It's a group that we don't, once you hear your family, so it really, it depends on kind of what's going on, but it's 100 members officially, and then people do and don't have activity levels through the year. We don't ask that you have to like come to everything. You can do like an event a year or so.
Okay. Yeah, we're fairly similar. We don't have, we're not as big, but we try to be pretty loosey goosey with we don't want to force people. It's like, this is all volunteer, so we want to have fun.
Yeah.
But
it's volunteer. I'm still waiting for my paycheck. What are you talking about?
It's in the mail.
All right. Corey, I hate to burst your bubble about this.
Do you guys have like a specific charity you work with? Do you work with multiple charities? I mean, you have like a main one, and then you have other smaller ones that you work with now and then.
Yeah, we mainly partner with Make-A-Wish Foundation. But
great.
we recently did an event with the SPCA, and we worked with some local businesses to raise money for them. So we kind of dabble, but mostly toward Make-A-Wish.
Yeah, Toys for Tots is like Tony's Winter Project, and there's a bunch of other great stuff. It's like anything local, we will help out. Like there's a local comic shop that does Bethany House, which deals toys to kids and women escaping domestic violence, and we'll help them with that and show up to a couple of their events and stuff like that. The group all over the state does all these things, and then local stuff that we find. Jeff Foxwell, you might know him from this little film, but he's the VP of the group, and he had gotten into some conversations over the winter where they were talking about how like all the pet food drives are great in the Christmas era, December and stuff like that, but then they don't get anything for the rest of the year, and it's very hard for them to do that. So that's why he created the Proton Pets initiative, which he then farmed out to the other groups and stuff. So at another, in April and maybe he might do another one at some other point in the year. But so these shelters, these animal shelters can get more food coming in at different times of the year, so they don't have to kind of ride the wave of a single kind of
that's awesome
peak in stock. Yeah.
Darrell, I know you kind of touched on this before, but Veronica, what drove you to become a Ghostbuster? How did you get into it?
Well, I was part of when I was living in West Virginia, I was part of a group called Cosplayers, and we would dress up as like princesses and superheroes and do hospital visits, and we would do parades and all kinds of stuff. And we would partner with the West Virginia Ghostbusters. And I didn't really grow up with Ghostbusters. I wasn't too familiar with it. But then when I became interested in their group, and I'm like, this looks like so much fun. And then I got into it and joined the group from there. And I joined them in 2015, early 2016, and it was so much fun. It was great. It was one of the best decisions I ever made, joining that group. And then when I moved to Virginia, of course the pandemic kind of slowed everything. But after that, I was like, I want to get out. I want to make some friends, and these guys seem cool. And also another great decision. It's been a wonderful time working with this team, and through that, making this movie. I mean, it's been a wonderful, wonderful experience.
I had a question about what areas your team covered, but you guys already talked about it. You're everywhere, all over the state.
Pretty much the whole state, it sounds like.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm a huge car guy, and I'm just really curious. I've seen pictures of some of your stuff. You guys have like multiple ectos, in your group and stuff. And
when we last checked, it was 5. And we've gained at least 2 since then, so we're probably at 7 or 8 ectos in the group.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, I saw you have somebody's got a motorcycle. That kind of grabbed my attention too, right?
Oh yeah, Will. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Everybody loves them. Everyone loves the bike. Yeah.
I got rid of my motorcycle and I traded it in for a Camaro, and I actually turned my Camaro into a Ghostbusters car, so I call it Slime 1. So.
Awesome. Do you get all the waves and the honks from everybody while you're driving?
Oh, of course. And I was just talking to Corey and Matt before the show. I'm in the process of I just bought a new vehicle, and I'm getting in the process of turning that into an Ecto, my everyday vehicle. So, yeah, I'll have 2 myself here shortly.
The spousally compliant way to get that done is to do magnets for it. That's what Tony does with his, and then Jeff just got a car to do an Ecto out of, and it's like it's a much easier sell when you say no, but it can all come off, and this can also be our normal.
Yeah, car. No, my wife's great. She's very supportive. She loves she actually loves that I'm turning my new truck into an Ecto. Not her car, her
No,
stays.
yeah.
But no, we have several people in our group that they do that. They go the magnet way. That's very, so they can drive around
Ecto
discreet.
is my daily driver. It's full-time Ecto all the time because it's advertising for our team.
Exactly.
That's great.
That's the same thing with our guy Rob. Like his EV is an Ecto, or has been Ectofied. So it's like anytime we're just driving somewhere, we get people who are like, waving, and it's like, oh yeah, right, we're in an Ecto.
Yeah, there's times where that happens. I'll be driving down the road. I'm like, why is this person riding next to me? And like,
what's
I'm
your
like,
problem?
oh yeah, okay, now I remember.
Saw a video of Rob's EV. He's got a Ioniq 5, I believe, which I know that because that's the exact car that I've been looking at for the last year, and I want to turn into an Ecto. And when I saw that, I was like, oh no, I won't be the first. But it looks so good. I love it.
Yeah, and with Ectos, I always I think that like the SUV is sort of the new Cadillac hearse when it comes to that stuff, right? It's like enough room for people in gear. Yep. And I was gonna say when I go out with Tony and his is the RDX in the film. There's a lot of times that we'll go out and it's different driving with it than without it, because you'll have it on. We'll have it on for events, because if he doesn't have an event in like 2 weeks, he'll take it off. But in general, like all of October, it's like that. All of December, it's like that, because it's like every time you turn around, you got to put it back on. So, taking that car, and when you're driving around on the highway, everybody's always sitting like flanking you right in your blind spot.
They want to get their good shots, record it, and everything.
It's funny. We're talking to a local guy with a DeLorean, and he said the exact same thing with that car. He's like, it's great, except when you have to get into the right lane to take an exit, and the guy's just like, and he's like, I gotta move over, and he's like, and you're like, please help.
I've been there a few times myself.
I think the only other question we had about your group was what kind of services do you typically offer at events?
I mean, we started in posters, and that was kind of the main thing, but we're kind of diversifying out into just general merch table stuff. And then even moving into newer things, like we finally put a cash donation thing on the table, because we saw how well that was doing for other groups like New York and stuff like that. And in general, it's mostly that. We do like maybe like a brief birthday visit here and there, and for the most part, though, it's cons and community events, and the table shows up, and we do Ghostbuster tchotchkes. V makes merch. I'll let her sell her wares.
Yeah, the West Virginia team got me started on this, but these little tiny bottles that they sell at Dollar Tree, I make slime jar jewelry out of them, just like a little bit of slime in there, and make earrings and necklaces, and they seem to do pretty well. Kids like them, so
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, I'm the merchandising director, so I'm kind of marketing director, excuse me, but I do merchandising.
Merchandising.
That's not. I have to look into that.
Yeah. I was going to say, if
that's not a
if
good. That's
you
a good
want
idea.
I will. Yeah, I would definitely. They're pretty easy to put together, pretty inexpensive, and like the necklaces especially do well with kids. So, yeah.
Always looking for new ideas.
Yeah.
Everybody is. I mean, that's kind of the best part about being able to kind of slowly open communication between the charities, is the ability to kind of share what you're doing and figure out what it is that everybody is bringing to the table, and to what success rate that's going.
Yeah. That's definitely one of the things we love, because, like you said, everybody's so happy to help other groups. We've tried this, or we tried that, it didn't work out for us.
We all borrow ideas from each other.
Yeah, we're not competing with each other. The goal is to raise as much money as we can. So
yeah. All right. Yeah. No, that's you guys. Your group sounds awesome. This is why we're here. Don't make me laugh.
Yeah, I want to tell you guys, the three of us have been gushing about this film since we saw it. So
I've watched it multiple times. But
you're the guy.
I'm the one getting your ticker up.
There's a spike in views.
I'm getting the views too. I've been watching it. I just watched it before we recorded.
Watches under my belt.
I just noticed Joe behind you there, Jason.
Oh yeah, I was like, I try to put a little something up relevant to the show. So I I met you guys down in New York City, and you handed me one of your little stickers. So I put them on my scanner bed, and I blew them up, and I printed them out and quick cut them out and taped them to the railing there.
Nice.
Could have made more of those stickers. Those went.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can go down with like thousands of stickers and stuff like that on Ghostbusters Day, and they will go.
Yeah.
People love their stickers.
Yep.
But
stickers and the business cards did pretty good too. Getting the movie out to people. Like we noticed a huge spike in viewership after Ghostbusters Day from just handing out cards. We were like, did that work at all? And then it was just like do, and we're like, okay, good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yep. But I mean, this project was pretty. I mean, the finished product looked awesome. How long did this project take you guys from like start to finish? I've got to imagine it wasn't a weekend deal.
It's been.
It was supposed to be.
It always starts out as a weekend deal.
Oh yeah, I see. Darrell says that supposedly I said, "Oh, this will be done in a couple weekends." I don't really remember that. I may
was that
be
long ago?
gaslit here. No, when did we get started? We had, what was that? November of 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. We were in a meeting together, and Darrell said that he wanted to work on a short film, and I said that I like to write. And he followed up with me after that, and we were kind of kicking around some ideas, and ultimately we settled on this one concept. And then from there, it took us a little over 2 years.
Yeah, and it's mostly it's like a D&D game though. It's mostly scheduling conflicts, right? So we met in November 2022. GBVA had a little reset in its social media team, and we had a meeting, and at the end of that I was like, hey, I'd like to film something, because I've done that on the side as like it's something I'm trying to make my job, but it was something that I was doing on the side as like a serious hobby, because when you do independent film, everybody looks at the budget they don't have and says, we're going to do two people talking in a apartment and on the street, and it's nice dramatic stuff, but I grew up on things that explode and monsters. So I was like, it's something that I've been interested in since I was too young to be interested in it. And when I said it, it was like Vee just kind of squeaked out of the corner, like, oh, I write. And I was like, perfect. And she's like, she didn't. Go ahead. You tell your side of that story though, when it comes to the beginning.
No, I just thought it's like one of those things where you think, oh, it's going to kind of go off into the ether. Like, oh yeah, maybe we'll work on something. I don't know. I threw it out there. I didn't know you at all. And then you immediately followed up with me, and
Oh, yeah.
I'm so glad that you did, because then from there we worked on. I threw out another idea to you, but then ultimately we came up with what we got, and that's my side of the story. I don't know if you're a radically different one.
No, I mean, that was it. It was like, she didn't know that I was going to follow up, and I was like, okay, we had no bearing on what each other could deliver. And I had thrown the initial concept of like maybe versus the Bunny Man, which is like a local cryptid, and it just became too big of an idea to achieve. And Vee was just kind of like, hold my beer, and then went back and came out with the idea of Joe King and all of this stuff, because she's got this sort of classic movie love. If you dig into her sort of social media stuff, you'll see that she's got this eye for classic film and things like that. So it was nice on that side level to also have these fun little concepts. I mean, she in draft one is this Buster Keaton opening and things like that. So that was always in her idea of what she wanted out of the project. So
well, it also doesn't hold that that's public domain either.
So Vee, from like the time where you had the meeting and Darrell said, hey, I want to make a film, and you said, I can write, how long was like the scripting process to get it from start to finish?
Do you mean to like the first draft I sent him,
like
or
from the time the idea popped in your head till when you started filming?
Oh, well, let's see, we had that meeting in November and we started filming in September. So yeah, there was that kind of bunny man idea that we threw out, and then like a couple months in, I had sort of the bare bones of what was going to be the story, and then from there, I think we did about 9 or 10 drafts, and even the final draft is not what ends up in the film, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say from till September. I don't know how many months that is off the top of my head, but even before we got started on this idea, I had for a long time kind of kicked around in my head doing sort of a buddy cop type Ghostbusters story. It just didn't have any of the details surrounding it, but I thought that that's kind of a classic and fun, duo to work with.
Yeah, I loved grumpy old Foxwell and then the rookie recruit Stimmons.
Yeah.
Yeah, grumpy Foxwell. No acting required, of course, for that.
But yeah, anytime I've talked about it, I've always referred to the rookie as Stimmons. That stuck.
that poor kid. He's never gonna live. It's
Oh
like
my God.
it's like any kid named Aaron after the Key and Peele sketch, right? Like he's just done for.
Yeah.
You mean Aaron?
Yeah. But V had like in I think it was like February or March of 23 had given me like all of the character. We started in archetypes for the characters, so it was like up until filming, and we had to kind of have a conversation about it. But it was the vet, the rookie, the boss, the cryptid
Researcher.
zoologist, right? Researcher, and then like the tech guy.
Yeah.
And then and that was our sort of rogues gallery for the kind of who was in the office and what it is that they would be able to bring to the story. And I think you had that way ahead of kind of the outline for what the story is. So we were like, we had conversations back and forth and kind of spitballed about what each of them could kind of bring or how you could kind of set that up and stuff. And then she hit us with the first draft of it, which while there was 9 drafts, I think a good 80% of that movie is in the first draft of it, where the setups and payoffs and who is who and things like that. There was some production stuff that caused us to kind of move the third act, but in general, it was the same. It was the same story.
Gonna have to hit the same beats. Like it was always gonna end with, Rookie overcoming his self-doubt and catching the ghost. So like I know we had to get to that point. How we get there, that remained to be seen yet. But yeah, it also I started with kind of core 4. I had to split the vet character up into Foxwell and Tony, because I felt like Foxwell shouldn't be the boss. There needs to be kind of the good cop to his grumpy bad cop.
That was a good balance. I liked that a lot.
I loved Tony's character. He had some funny parts in there.
I felt like there needed to be kind of, like Kermit to the Muppets. There needs to be kind of like, sort of a more, benevolent, neutral, paternal personality to kind of wrangle all these weirdos together. So.
Oh, I feel like he's my spirit animal.
You feel that?
Yeah, I do.
Matt told us he wants us to start calling him boss.
Yeah. And if they don't, then I'm going to cut their pay, but I haven't figured out how to pay them less than 0.
I said you got to charge us to be in the group.
That's where your invoices come in.
The film's direction, the editing, everything was some of the best I've seen in a Ghostbusters fan film. I know you touched on this a little bit, but what filmmaking background, if any, did you guys have before undertaking?
So prior to this, I did about maybe about 10 years, but it's not like an extensive 10 years. It's like a project a year as a cinematographer in New York. My day job was at a rather reputable camera store in Midtown. And then on weekends, I would try to get into projects and did a couple of smaller series, web series stuff. And it would be like every summer I would get caught up in a project and be working on it. And then, either 10-minute shorts or maybe like a 8 or 10 episode web series, just doing the camera work and lighting and all that stuff and color, because that's kind of my hope to kind of go into. and then coming down here, I just kind of wanted to find community a little bit in that and build that out. And yeah, V.
Yeah, V.
Yeah. Well, I've always liked to write and work on just little solo video projects, and I graduated from Shepherd University in 2015 from the communication department. I did some film work there, but also I worked on a 48-hour during the course of this film. But this is the first thing that I've worked on that was to the scale, certainly, and that I've both written and directed. So I'm still fairly green, but Darrell was.
And you hit it out of the park the first time.
Yeah, oh my God! Well, thank you. Well, I absolutely could not have done this without Darrell. The very first shoot. Oh my gosh, I was like, I'm trying not to show how nervous I am, but Darrell, who's got more experience with this, was able to kind of help guide me through it and make the experience go more smoothly. Definitely.
I
That's great.
will say, like, when I first started watching it, like the way it was shot definitely pulled me in, because I'm like, this looks like a film.
Mm-hmm.
But then we got in the story, I'm like, it's a good story. Like, this is great.
Yeah.
It looks good, and it's a good story.
Well, the look of it is, Darrell had that.
And my goal was always to kind of to do it as high quality as I possibly could, and I kind of throw everything I had at it. When it came time to do it, I lucked out walking into the field, and V's just like, oh, I can do it. And I've worked on a lot of projects and to varying quality. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, let's see what you got. And even when we did the first Bunny Man thing, she gave me like a 5-page thing that was like the opening scene. Like, oh, this is just what I can. And I think it was like the weekend. It was like, and then out. And so I go and I'm reading it, and I was like, completely drawn into it. It was like I came back and I was like, this doesn't work for what I want, but every character, it was like 5 kids in a car, every character had a point of view, and you could just see each of them. You could differentiate them on the page. You could kind of feel the environment of it, and I was just like, okay, I think we're doing pretty good here. And then we got into it and building out the drafts and everything. I mean, she got story. From the beginning, every setup has a payoff. Everything delivers. I mean, it's been great. It's been, it's one of the best, if not the best written thing I've worked on from draft one. Like, it was just, this has it. And so it's been like a pleasure to be able to kind of do that, and then to bring it to fruition. I am going to move into the drama of the second part of it, which is that V, when we originally did it, because we were co-producing it, we were going to just have V write it, and then we were going to try to find a director and bring them in. And we had we made one attempt at that, and it was the person so thoroughly walked over V to try to be the director of it, that we were just like, I'm sorry, this isn't going to work out. And I twisted her arm until she said yes about directing it. And
I don't know about that, but the person that we had on, they kind of had like a totally different direction that they wanted to go in. I was like, I feel very strongly about this buddy cop idea. I really want to do this, because
you're not
it's like,
seeing my vision here.
Well, it's got to be, if you're going to commit your time to it, it's got to be something that's personal to you, that you feel strongly about. And I thought that, it has to have heart, and it has to be more than just a spectacle, so hopefully that was achieved here. But, I'm like, well, if no one else is stepping up here, I'll do it. And I'm glad that I did, because it was a very valuable learning experience for sure.
Yeah,
you guys made the right choice.
That kind of goes into what I was thinking about asking was, because I mean, you had a pretty sizable crew, with cameras, sound, editing, all that stuff. I mean, did you have like was this all like members of your group, or did you guys bring people in from outside, or?
Well, we grabbed people
Yes.
off the street. I mean,
Hey, you, come here.
I mean, not far off. No, we had, it was a mix of our friends already on the team. You know, I mean, we'd have, you know, Davis as our leading man one day, and then the next day, you know, he's holding the leaf blower, you know, and pizza, you know, that's our behind the scenes. Yeah, and we had, Darrell had some, you know, wonderful, talented friends who came in, like Austin.
I met so I've worked on a couple things here, and I've met a couple of like the indie film people in Northern Virginia. And so every now and again, because the hard thing with this is you don't want to be like, oh, hey, man, it's been great meeting you. You want to work for free on my Ghostbusters project? Like that's not the sell that you think it is. And but no, Austin was great. He's this cinematographer. He's like 10 miles away, Austin Reeves. And on our first shoot day, I was like, yeah, I'm doing you know, a poor man's process in the car with some green screen. And I was like, if you want to, I'd love the help. And he said, sure. And he's like, do you need me to bring? And he brought like a couple of lights and this one big ass like 6K light, and really kind of made the car stuff sing. And in general, I feel bad asking kind of working professionals to come and do my fan project. So he was game again. He also helped out and did the lighting on the exteriors, because we knew that was going to be very hard when they're out in the driveway. There was a bit of a time crunch because our Lee Allen actress had this like very narrow schedule of availability. So we kind of got her the one night, and then 5 months later to do the driveway scenes. So, which was fine because the trees were growing by then, so it was the right time of year to be what it should be in our film. So it worked out. But
it's April and all the autumn leaves are falling.
Yeah, right, exactly. But so it was nice to kind of have that there, and then I had a guy come in for sound for that day, and we've had a couple people. Our friend Madison is Madison Bischoff. I'm probably going to butcher her last name, but Madison is, I met her as like a co-PA. She worked with me on a 48. She came in and did a bunch of stuff and worked her way up to AD at some point. She is, even though she had us both add and take away the credit, she is the rubber chicken in our film. She
among many roles, she was the rubber chicken. It was so late. We were filming that. It was, you know, yeah, and she's just crouching down, waiting.
But everybody that has been in this has moved into multiple roles in the production. I mean, you know, everybody was excited to kind of bring something else in. I mean, Rob came in to be our science guy, and then he acts like he got over on us, but we got over on him, because he was like, oh, is anybody doing the ghost? And we're like, not yet. And I mean, he designed and built that
slowly
thing.
raising his hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, before we move on to that real quick, I do have to say, you and Austin were totally on it the first day of filming, and that made me feel so much better. And Madison, oh my God, she was doing sound, she was AD, she was rubber chicken. You know, it's like we had folks that were just doing so many things, and we had so many shoots that it was just like, it was so great to have this wonderful crew to be able to rely on. You know, and everybody has
awesome.
so many
talents. I mean, it everybody pulled together, because like I said, I mean, we highly enjoyed it. But I mean, I love to, like, you know, I'm sure it was done on purpose, but you know, I noticed at least several of the scenes, you know, felt like they were, you know, highly inspired by, you know, scenes in the movies. You know, like the whole intro, you know, definitely felt like the original library scene. You know, that whole, you know, and like it worked amazing. I loved it.
I think it actually is the exact length of time. I don't know, maybe if we edit it down by a second or two, but at one point it was exactly the length of the library opening scene. I was like, okay.
I mean, it definitely had that, you know, that feel, and then all of a sudden the jump scare at the end. And the other one that really stood out for me was, you know, towards the end where the rookie Simmons, you know, where he's lassoing Joe, and there's that whole camera moves in on him, and then he looks up. I was like, man, that feels exactly like Phoebe at the end in Afterlife. And it was just they were amazing shots, and I just had to
we,
point that
we
out.
we were looking for the. I was like, I've got to find the right music. And I was like listening to all the different soundtracks, and that one was like a great moment in Afterlife. But I was like, oh, we've got to use this for us too. Yeah.
So we had a lot of serious conversations in pre-production about making sure, because it was like coming into this is like me being kind of a stickler about things that I wanted in it. We didn't want it to be everybody telling jokes. We wanted it to be very naturally funny in the situational way that it was, but we wanted the scary to be scary.
Mm-hmm.
So we very much, we had a couple other bigger things. We had like a fog creeping out from under a door and some other stuff that kind of got a little too big, and then production schedule eliminated that, and I think it was all to our benefit to do it. But it was to make that opening be creepy from like the first little wind blowing on Lee Allen's hair all the way up until she screams. But like we had a really good time. And then going in and looking at that, when they do the librarian, it's like the light kind of moves up, and then she gets hit with the blow of wind in her hair with the librarian. So it was like I very much like looked at that and was like, okay, we have to bring all that in. I didn't move the light, I just turned it on, but it was still the same effect. So just sort of
definitely. That's, I mean, like I said,
3, 2, 1, bah,
With that jib shot as well, like Darrell and I had some conversations about that, and I was like, that is a shot that I feel we have to get in really close to his face, and we have to feel his moment of overcoming that self-doubt. So yeah, we were, I think, fairly loosey goosey with a lot of the shots in terms of like I wasn't too much of a stickler about certain shots where I wanted you to have freedom and not feel stifled. But that one I was insisting.
Yeah,
like,
this is what.
We must. Yeah.
And all to the benefit. I mean, that was toward the end of our shoot. We had kind of did it, but she's like, I want this moment to go, and I was like, okay. And she's like, I want to do this, and it's like the opening shot is kind of one of those jib push-ins, and it didn't totally work well. It's got a little bit of like side to side framing issues, and so when she did that, I was like, no, but maybe we could do this or that, and she's like, I want that, and I was like, okay, I got you. Not a problem, boss.
Like, boss, I'm being bullied. But man, we have some behind the scenes video of it, but that was like one of the highlights absolutely for filming to me, because it was like an orchestra. Like we had so many things that were going on at the same time. We have Maddie's behind me holding a skull so that he's got an eye line, and there's a leaf blower going, and you got the jib. It was like we're juggling so many things, but when it was going, I was like, yes, it's working, So.
I think it took us, that was probably our biggest shot in the film.
My favorite
in
shot.
that it took us 4 hours to set that up. We got there at 9 a.m. and we had it set up, and poor Rookie is trying to like look the part as I'm just like swearing behind this device, trying to get it to cooperate with me, which it didn't do.
With a leaf blower in his face and shaving cream. Yeah.
And we had a great AC come in for the day, Rogers, and he came in and he's doing this amazing job pulling the focus to make sure. Usually on a lot of this, it was like I was pulling my own focus, and it was small enough to do it, but I called in as many favors as I could to get that day to do that, so we could get the shot to do that, because you wanted that moment to kind of hit.
I mean, when you look at that finished shot and you compare it to like the finished shot in with Phoebe, I mean, it looks like it's on par professionally. Like it looks that good.
Oh my God!
Oh, you don't have to say that.
I'm being completely honest. A little bit of flattery there, but I'm completely honest. I mean, that shot was amazing. I mean, it came together really well.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
We'll be the first ones to agree with you, because we were the first ones to see it, and we were both like, I think we got into the editing for that, and I'm pretty sure we were both crying at the end of that, because that entire sequence, even though it moves into it and all this other action happens, that's actually one shot. All his close-ups, that camera moves in on him, pulls back out from that and then kind of comes back into all the way up until he pulls the stream away and is like, oh, I got him. All of that is done in one shot. And that shot, when you throw that music on it, even though we eventually had to maneuver it and stretch it out and get the full breadth of the action, but when you watch that also one shot, you're like, he did it. Well, he's like, oh boy.
There were two moments, especially during editing, that, I mean, the whole editing process is, had some great moments, but one of them was watching that scene with the music in the background and actually feeling what we have, what's been committed to the page for a long time, actually seeing it. Oh my God! A couple tears leaked out, But and then the other shot was when you showed Darrell. You showed me the opening iris that you edited, and I was like, "Oh, we're making a Ghostbuster movie. This is great."
That's when it got real.
Yeah, that's the first time it got real.
Yeah.
Well, this might be a simpler shot, maybe, I don't know. But I've been dying to ask you, how did you get your ecto going through intersections in traffic?
So you guys had said something about that the other day, and I was kind of laughing about it. That's from a dead standstill. Like 3 frames before he goes, he's on a left turn light, and he's just waiting for the light. And when that light went, he went. Because in the shot before that, he's going, and the shot after that, he's going. It just feels like he's moving. Okay. But we were trying to get that right, and we're on like a little grassy median. We're probably the
that's about this wide, by the way.
Yeah.
We're kind of standing. I'm standing sort of like a pencil while you're like recording. I mean, if you're asking how we were allowed to do that.
Maybe.
It took 5 minutes, and you run after. It's fine.
So you just didn't get caught. That's all.
That's it.
We don't have a permit. Run.
A little guerrilla filmmaking like the original film. I like it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you.
But no, and then even the right that he takes, like the second time Rookie kind of grabs the oh shit handle.
Which I wrote that in the script, by the way, that it's the oh shit handle.
But that shot didn't work right. It was we did it. It was great. Tony took that right pretty hard, but it was like, and so we actually took that, and I think we doubled it in speed. And I laughed to myself because I was like, that's great, but is anybody going to be like, oh, they sped that up? But it's like, honestly, that feels as Ghostbusters as anything, because that first shot of the Ecto barreling out of the firehouse is. At
that
least
wasn't true speed.
Sped up, yeah.
Totally sped up.
But it was like it felt totally natural. It's like this feels real. I
don't think I even noticed that was sped up, honestly.
Yep.
No, I didn't even catch that.
Yeah,
so
that's
nicely done.
We also discovered that you just can't have the siren on through the whole sequence because you just start going a little nuts.
you get
even we get a little tired of hearing it over and over.
Yeah. And my poor husband next to us while we're editing, having to hear it as well.
When it comes to the siren, we've learned there's a couple of rules. First, you get 3. It's a wah, 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 and that's it. You find something else to do immediately after that. Because in our driveway, and I did this on purpose, I really, and it went on longer until I was told, please stop, is that I kept it on just like a beat or 2 longer than you want it to be on. So you just like feel how annoying that siren is. Because when it turns off, you're like, meh, you're like, oh, relief. Please, thank you.
It also aids Jeff's grumpy noises while he's getting out of the car.
Thank God you're here.
Miss Allen, is this your first time witnessing the apparition?
Yes, but I don't live here. I'm just house sitting for my parents.
His grumbles. Like, oh my God.
I'm actually kind of surprised you didn't do a lot of the the sirens in like post production, adding the sound later or something. But
that's all in post.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, but we have like when you watch the guys in the car in the first film, and in general with stuff like that, I made the rule that when you're in the car, there is no siren. I have car sounds going, but you don't hear the siren at all. I don't even have it quiet in there. It's just no siren until you're doing shots of the exterior of the car. Because unless the car is driving past or taking a turn, that's when you want to hear it. If you do it in the car, yeah, your audience will be like, that's great, please.
Well, and then we had the cutting back and forth between the car in the office, and then it's like, oh, that would also be kind of annoying going from that
Yeah.
to the siren. So yeah.
Overall, this whole time, I mean, doing this whole, what was your experience? Like, I mean, did you enjoy it? Was it stressful? I mean, probably all the above, I'd have to
Yes.
guess, but I mean, you know,
Yes, it was. It was an incredible experience. It was very stressful. There were definitely times where I was feeling the self-doubt and worry and like, oh my gosh, can I do this? And then there were times where I'm like, man, I feel on top of the world from this, you know? So it's kind of a roller coaster, but
yeah,
it's a roller coaster, but you know, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I think it was such a valuable experience. It definitely strengthened my bond with all my friends, you know, our creative partnership, you know, and it's really gotten me back into the desire to make movies again. I kind of went into a little bit of a rut after I graduated, where I was away from it for a long time. And this really like reignited my, you know, my passion for doing it. And so, I mean, that would be my experience. How about you, Darrell?
I would say yes. I didn't have any of the worry up until maybe that ghost. That was probably the only time that I was kind of concerned. Is we had the whole thing cut together, and we hadn't even shot the ghost yet, and he was half made, and we were like, "How is that gonna cut into it? Did we get everything that we needed to do it?" But like because we had the fortune of filming this project over forever. But we would edit the scene. We would edit the scene. If it was like we shot the car day was the first day, then we shot the office, and so we cut those together. So for like 6 months, this film was the car and the office and going back and forth with that. Then we got the opening and we threw that in there. So it was like every time you would do it, it would just be this other little Lego piece that would go into the timeline to make the film and get us to that point. And then as it's going on, it's sort of like watering a plant. Like you're just sort of watching it blossom into this thing. Because, you know, once or it's like building Legos. Like, you know what the directions say is coming up at the end of all of these pieces, even though it's like a superstructure and everything is the wrong color. You flip the next page and you've got the next thing, and it builds out and it builds out and it builds out. And yeah, it's given just like it's been great to just sort of watch each of those things grow. You know, you'll get the car stuff. We did the effects, because the car stuff was maybe a little scary at the beginning of that, because when it's the guys on green screen, there's no energy at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're sitting there, they're talking.
Right.
It's two people talking, but the reason we did it in the car is a James Cameron thing, which is when you do a big exposition dump, and steal this freely, I did, but when the best place to put an info dump is in the middle of a car chase, right? Like the first Terminator, every time they're giving everything about what the future is and how all that's building out, it's during the car chase when they're being chased by the Terminator. And so we were doing the same thing during the drive. So at least there's visual forward momentum and the characters are moving to where they want to go. To do that, and that gives you the chance to sort of then you pepper in hard lefts and siren sounds and fun stuff, but it gives you the ability to kind of to sort of throw that information at them, and you can go just a little bit longer than you could if it was two people sitting in a room or
Mm-hmm.
standing, and even a walk and talk, as long as there's movement happening at the same time.
That's
you
interesting.
get a little bit more life in it. We did a full like deconstruction of other films and kind of did that. And that was something that we kind of saw that a lot of people had a hard time with, is you'll do everybody in the office, and every fan film does this. Everybody's in the office and you're introducing the characters, but you kind of, after a little while, feel that you're introducing all the characters in the office. So if you're giving the audience something to do while they're doing it, it's sort of like drawing while the teacher's, you know, teaching you math.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it becomes easier to absorb that information because you're distracted by something you enjoy. So.
Well, I also felt like we should get a good idea of who the characters are, like from the jump immediately. You know, like, you know, Rookie is kind of, you know, nervous, and Jeff is just rolling his eyes over it. You know, I thought like, well, we better establish that like right away with this dynamic.
It definitely got established pretty quickly. That's for sure. Yeah. I mean, you can almost see that with just their, you know, just their stances and their
Body
just standing
language.
there, their body language that spoke loud, just that.
Props to those guys too for the acting with that, because it just came across. Unless that's just them naturally, then still.
Actually, I think their dynamic is a little bit like that. I think it's actually they've kind of exaggerated because of the movie. Jeff loves to give Davis a hard time, but Davis, he can give it back. But
not until the next one. Right.
Not until I meant in real life. Yeah. No, God, I was so proud of them. The very first day, I don't think that they really knew what to expect. So when Darrell and Austin are setting up all these lights and there's a green screen and stuff, they were like, "Oh, this is like, we're not just filming, in the backyard, like, on someone's phone. Like, we're actually going to put in some effort." And no, but they were totally throughout all this very professional, and were kind of, oh my God, Davis especially being a good sport about, I told him from the jump, "You're going to get hit in the face with a pie," and he's just like, "Well, okay, too late for me to say no now, I guess."
Yep.
Doesn't everybody want to get hit in the face with a pie? Come on.
Maybe the first time, but when we changed the location of the third act, and we have a couple of reshoot days, and you get pied in the face a good 5 times.
5, 10, 20 times.
Yeah. It's let me tell you, he's a good sport about it, but he has been, and then also not only getting the pie in your face, but then for the rest of the scene, you have to have pie on your face.
It's now your makeup.
Yep.
I was going to say his girlfriend Erin was sort of his makeup artist throughout, would like dab throughout the day. One of the shoots before the reshoots, he actually had a date with her coming up right after the shoot. And I'm like, "Well, you're going to smell good."
All right. Well, this kind of leads in. I'm going to kind of go off. I had a question later on that I was going to ask, but it seems how we're kind of talking about it. It never came back up again. What flavor were the pies?
The parallel dimension in the basement, and I threw pies at her.
Did she say what flavor?
Oh no, I didn't ask.
Oh, banana cream pie, absolutely.
Because he asks an initial. Did she say what flavor was the pie? And he's like, no. And then later on you never find out. So now I gotta ask him.
Yeah, Chekhov's pie. Yeah, I just I thought Jeff would be giving him a hard time, and of course Davis is so green that he doesn't realize it and thinks he's in trouble for not asking.
Yeah, it's a real
details, say what flavor. I didn't know. I didn't ask.
Yeah, it's a real headlight fluid get on him.
Yeah. But yeah, we had some trial and error with the pie. The sound that you hear of the sound effect of the pie hitting Davis, that is a stunt like pie that we had that splatted on the ground and made the perfect sound in another take. And so we just lifted the sound from that and put it there, and it was
all right.
surprisingly hard
off
sound
track there.
You guys are asking the important questions.
Yeah.
People are dying to know.
We're getting the real scoop here. So,
but people demand answers.
This is what people want to know.
This is journal.
So Joe King as your main baddie obviously was amazing. I love how he gave off kind of Scoleri brother vibes, but at the same time being completely its own thing and original and unique. Hopefully we might get to talk to Rob in the future about his process, but I was wondering how much guidance did you guys give towards the style and the execution of the Ghost? Did you have much say, or was that all Rob?
He had complete freedom and control over it, and as soon as he did exactly what we asked, we'd let him out of the cage. So
we unchained him from the radiator. Yeah, no,
you can see your family again.
When I wrote it, I didn't really have a clear idea of what Joe would look like. I wanted something that felt like, not quite human, but not totally monster either. So yeah, Scoleri brothers, kind of in the middle of the road, kind of, and Rob came up with some concepts. It didn't change much from his original concept, but he gave him this real horrifying smile, and and of course then Rob was like, well, can I, he asked if he could perform him. I was like, absolutely. And then also did the voice for him. He is Joe King basically. Every aspect is Rob.
Yeah, we had a couple of conversations. What we wanted to bring to this is ghosts that feel like they're out of the films. So we had conversations back and forth about kind of how that goes. And then we did a lot of looking at the very little information online about how Slimer was made, because, he's kind of a floating guy. And we didn't want him to just sort of feel like a person kind of matted in, standing next to there, and they're semi-transparent, right? Like, we wanted it to feel like a Ghostbuster ghost. My Ghostbusters from childhood, I saw 2 in theaters at 6 years old, which was not old enough to see 2 in theaters. And so outside of like a 6-month hiatus from taking baths because of the slime, the showers only, the ghosts stuck with me. I mean, we had a lot of conversations about kind of the 80s, 90s ghosts in the Scolari brothers. The Lord of the Rings, the way those ghosts look in the lake, when you look into like the haunted lake and you see that, those always kind of had that. And then Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which is like the artwork that is giving everybody probably very classic existential terror. Even there it is, but like light up eyes and like gnarly teeth and had all this. And Rob, who is, I don't know if you guys are aware of his shop, is a pretty good artist himself. Outside of that, right, he does his amazing designs for everything.
Yeah, I had actually seen a behind the scenes. I think it might have been TikTok or it was a YouTube short or something you guys put on with a behind, like showing the build, and I'm looking like, wow, that's really professional. Like that's.
Oh my God! When we saw the finished product, we had, that was the last thing that we filmed, was the green screen with Joe, and that was the first time we saw it really all together. And oh my gosh, the amount of detail that Rob did, I mean, there are little things that don't even show up on camera. Like Joe King has like a gold tooth in the back, like there's a level of detail and like, and humor that he added to it that really, I made the whole thing work.
Yeah. And then the other thing is like Joe King was a set of teeth for a year. Like Rob had sculpted the teeth last summer and was like, we were getting to our thing. He's like, oh, well, I don't have all of it figured out, but here's his smile. And we were just like, oh God, this is great, And then for a while it was a smile and the top half of his head. And then we got into it. And it's one of those things that like the last 90% was done in a week. Like he had that. And then we would go back and forth about the process because we're trying to figure it out as we went along. And that's what I would say. If anybody is making a fan film like this and goes into building their ghost, don't get into clay. I think that's one of the things that Rob made sure to have us tell anybody. If you're getting into clay to sculpt it, you're going to have a lot of clay sitting in your house. Rob moved into styrofoam and foam clay and did that, and then built it out of like pool noodles. And then even like the lower jaw here is fabric. And then he learned airbrushing for it, got that kind of started. But you go in, and outside of his, like, I think deviation, that ghost isn't super expensive. Like what's on the screen, his body is 5 pillows and duct tape and plastic, right? Like we stole the cosplay technique of wrap somebody in saran wrap and then duct tape it to build the form for it. To do that, and then we built on top of that with all the pillows and stuff. I will tell you, for filming though, and this is my cheat for anybody, we found this out the hard way, don't leave them wrapped in that plastic after the fact, because we had like the pillows still in the plastic, and like 15 minutes in, Rob's under there and you can just see his energy drop because he's just cooking saran wrap like a microwave hot dog. So we had to take them out and cut the plastic out of the backs of the pillows because it was still raw pillows. So at the very least, you could just sweat into these discount pillows that we had making up Joe's body, and it worked out really well.
We had so many behind the scenes, like we have so many behind the scenes photos of him just like in the suit where like the shoulder pads are up about this high and he's just kind of sunken into all of these pillows, and he was so he so much became a part of the costume that like I felt so bad about this. Like I was ordering everybody lunch, and I forgot Rob because
He's just
like,
a prop. He's
oh my god! It was behind the scenes of Star Wars. I think one time they forgot Kenny Baker in the art.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I feel like he kind of had that moment. I'm so sorry, but he really embodied the character so well. Like once we got started, I mean, he brought so much energy to it. You know, despite being packed in all these pillows and having this huge head. You know, I mean, I would say things like, you know, laugh louder, Joe, and he can't really hear me, and he's like trying to move the mouth and banging. So I'm sure I know he was exhausted by the end of it, but you know, his efforts paid off, I think.
I think one of my favorite moves of his was when he was getting sucked in the trap and he starts doing this.
He's like,
we didn't notice that until we were all watching we were watching the dailies or whatever on the TV, and I was like, I swear I didn't see you do that, Rob. That's so funny.
None of us saw it until the TV, and he's like he's laughing about it because it's a secret in his head because he knew what he had done. And so we were like, well, wait, did you just do Tweety bird hands? And it's just like...
Oh, and that was another idea from Rob was the pinching the nose before he was pulled down into the trap.
He was jumping into a pool or something like that.
Oh my God, he added so many little funny ideas like that.
I love that he added his own little like personal like touches and character to make him a real feeling ghost.
Oh yeah. And I knew that he definitely had the physical energy to like pull off the performance, but I knew he had the energy, like, you know, to perform the voice too. So we were on like a video chat, and we were going through the scenes together, and I'm like, you know, directing him through that, and laugh louder, or, you know, like give me more of like a Joker kind of chuckle here. And I mean, he was just going like nuts. Like, I mean, that first laugh when he pops out of the box, I was like, you need to like, you know, blow the house down with this one. And I mean, he just like... He went off. I'm sure his family probably was like, what is going on in there?
Trying to eat dinner while Dad's losing his mind in the study.
And the padded cell.
Yeah, I think he answered most of our questions about Joe King. I don't know, Corey, if you want to.
No, you touched on everything. Actually, the only other technical question I had is, how did you do the glowing eyes?
They're just a acrylic. It's an acrylic white, and I've got a little like professional video LED. It's like a magnetic. It's who makes it? Aperture makes them, and they're about the size of a business card. They're about that thick, and it's an RGB light. And inside of his head was hollow, and so I think there was like 2 metal screws, and I just stuck the magnets of that to it, so it would go for a couple hours, and then when that one died, you'd pull the light out of his head and throw the next one in, and then you're good to go.
Nice, very effective.
The other technical thing that I'll hit on this in terms of other stuff too is when he first comes out of that box, we had to kind of find a way to make that dynamic. And so we put a box in there, like another smaller one on a string, and the string on an arm on a camera. And we pulled it out, but we filled it full of packing peanuts, so it would kind of pop out. So when he came out of it, but there was a long time that ghost was just a UPS special delivery box with gaff tape on it, popping out of it. And you know, we're like, oh yeah, it's like, how are you going to do that? I was like, oh, I'll just erase it later. I didn't know how to erase it. I had no idea. So like going in, it's like all these techniques that I had to learn how to do it. But that's like one of the big things with movie making is just say yes to it. You're going to do it. This is how we're going to do it. And if you don't know how to do it, like YouTube it down the line. You know when you got to shoot it. You got that much time to figure it out. You know.
Yeah.
Sit there and doodle it.
Before Corey took over the editing, I was editing the early episodes of this, and Matt, I'd be like, "Oh, you can do that and post it." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And then I have to figure out how to do it.
Oh my God, there were so many times where I was like, "We can do that, right?" And Darrell's like,
"Yeah."
and then it happened. I mean, I can't believe that you hadn't done some of this stuff before, like the stuff with the green screen with the car, and all the work on Joe King. It's like,
I hadn't
to
done.
watch it like come together.
I unfortunately haven't, like, I've got like one or two like messing around like test things, but in general, I hadn't done anything. I hadn't even successfully keyed out a green screen in anything previous because nobody does effects in any of these things. And I mean, like I said, I mean, I've been enjoying this stuff, and I think we're all of the age that like DVD commentary education was like a big part of everybody's like early 2000s. So like, you have the idea of how to do it. You know what it is to take to do it. So you just have to get to that point. There was a lot of times even in that where, like Austin was talking to me about like keying out the car, and there's like wrinkles in the green screen. He's like, you got to get those wrinkles out, and I'm like, nah, it's fine. We'll figure it out. And it's true. It does take a little bit more work. Like a lot of people like that. So you can just click the button and it's done. And if you're doing a TV show, that's great. But if you're working on a project, you can go in and paint it out. And even that, the car, those green screen shots were half as good through 90% of it until I did all the ghost stuff. And then I had learned so much more about how to key stuff out and how to remove it, that when it came back time to do it, it was like, we really were able to level that. There's all these like little issues with the windows and speckles and stuff, and you just, a year later you go back through, you delete where the green screen note is and replace it. And
I felt bad through our editing going back and being like, well, I do see a little bit of a, there's a little bit of an error with the green screen. Please don't get mad at me.
All right, whoa, hold up, guys. Hold on here.
Well, everyone, this episode was so good, we lost track of time, and we're going into overtime. Be sure to check out our upcoming part 2 of this episode to continue our discussion with Vee and Darrell for their fan film from Ghostbusters Virginia, Don't Make Me Laugh.
Okay, so I'll see you later, huh? I'll give you a call.